Hey everybody, it's Chris, MTGO's RexDart, and I'm going to show you the deck list we are running tonight. It's Red Black Zombies in Modern, and I'm going to go over some of the card choices in the sideboard and talk about a few of the changes that I might make to it. But let's start with the basic idea here is that Lightning Bolt is the best spell in the format, and there are a couple of ways if you're going to play an aggressive deck to sort of minimize that. And one of them would be such as Brian Kibler's done with sort of mid-range zoo decks where you just play a bunch of creatures that Lightning Bolt doesn't kill. You play the best ones and you just make go with it. Try to minimize the ability of Lightning Bolt to stop you cold. But this deck takes a different approach. It has a bunch of recursive creatures such as Bloodghast and Geralf's Messenger and Gravecrawler and Bloodsoaked Champion that make spending a bolt on one of these guys not as powerful as it would otherwise be. So it buys them time, certainly. So if they can get to their end game and they have a powerful end game quickly enough, they're still going to pull that out. However, if they're just trying to grind you out with 2-for-1s, such as Jundwood or the Jeskai control decks with things like Electrolyze and Snapcaster and all that. And you'll see a match against the Jeskai deck tonight. These match up fairly well as threats against those. And it's again, it's pretty sad. Lightning Helixing and Geralf's Messenger doesn't even trade with half of the card. So even when you take the life gain into effect. So now these like I say, these zombies, you have to play a certain amount of zombies to make the Gravecrawler work. And so I'm going to go through these. Basically, the Bloodsoaked Champion, not a zombie, but he does come back. And he's very good with Falconwrath Aristocrat, which we'll get to later. But I've played this combination, him and the Aristocrat, before in an Aristocrats build that was more focused on that interaction among others, along with Blood Artist and things like that. So he's a good fit here. Diregraph Ghoul, just because it's important to have additional 1-drops. So this gives me 10 2-power 1-drops, so I have a very good chance of leading off with one. So I have a set of those. Of course, a set of Gravecrawlers as well. The zombie count here, we've got 4 of these, 4 Gravecrawlers, and 2 Stromgall Crusaders, and 4 Geralf's Messengers. So we have a reasonable number of zombies that will let him return. I'm going with the 3-3 split of Inquisition and Thoughtseize. I just wanted to minimize the life loss a little bit. In fact, it may even be better to do 4 IOK and 2 Thoughtseize. But like I say, I've built the mana base with that in mind, that I'm not a particularly painful mana base here by modern standards, and so again, I'm trying to minimize the Thoughtseize because as you'll see, the deck has a real problem with super hyper aggro decks because all these guys can't block or come into play tapped or something. It's really the problem with the deck, in terms of its main weakness that we are going to have to shore up at some point. So now the Bloodghast, of course, again, it's I only have the 4 Bloodstained Mires for instant speed bringing this back, but I am playing 23 lands, and I think that I have a reasonably good chance of bringing Bloodghasts back whenever I need them. Stromgall Crusader is a little out there, but this guy does have a pretty decent pedigree. He actually would top 8 at a Legacy Grand Prix at one point. The main reason he's in here is that I need to up the zombie count, and if you look at the available zombies, your choices at 2, where I kind of had a hole in the curve, are not fantastic. There's not another good 1-drop zombie in Modern. I don't have Carnophage or Sarcomancy to go to, so I figured I would add in a couple of these. He does have protection from white, so that helps him out against, say, Lightning Helix and Path to Exile. Now, if your opponent has Path to Exile, they're almost certainly going to burn it on the Gravecrawler or a Bloodghast. So if you're sequencing the creatures or whatever, you kind of have to keep that in mind. But this is not as good as it seems in theory to have this protection from white because you're giving the opponent a lot of other very tasty targets for path that they're going to use it on anyways. But it's also a nice way to sneak through some damage in the late game, because you can, if you find yourself, in the late game with, 6 or 7 mana or something, end up swinging, flying for 4 or 5 damage with this guy. And then, of course, the Geralf's Messengers. Excellent, certainly with the sack outlet. You can do a lot of damage in a hurry with these. They're good against board sweepers. They're, as I've said, good against spot removal. They're huge. And like I said, the triple black makes it so that I didn't really want any basic mountains in here. It could be justified to play a basic mountain just in case you're running up against Ghost Quarter or whatever, and so you might want to run one basic mountain in the sideboard. That's something that I am considering, but I have not changed yet. But anyways, all of these lands can cast the Geralf's Messenger, and that's the way I liked it in Standard, and that's the way I would do it here. So the Falconwrath Aristocrats, apart from the fact that they were played with this in Standard, and so it was kind of a natural place for me to look, they are quite excellent with creatures that you can sacrifice. The only humans you're going to get are the Blood-Soaked Champions, but that is a really, really solid combo there. But the best aspect of these guys is being able to sack off Geralf's Messenger to get the additional damage when you need it. You can also sacrifice Bloodghasts or Grave Crawlers in response to Path to Exile or something like that. If for some reason they were using it on that instead of her. But basically you can use that to make her indestructible. She fights well with a Restoration Angel, for instance. And it's just pretty cheap and easy to sacrifice one of these guys that you're going to bring back. And a lot of people don't see her coming. And plus, you do have games where you'll end up naming Vampire on the Cavern of Souls to get a Bloodghast out. So sometimes this is a pretty solid play against opposing Planeswalkers, control decks, especially if you have a Cavern of Souls out. So the removal, we've got 4 Lightning Bolts here, obviously. For reach, which is another aspect of these, and the damage guys. And a lot of these guys, you'll see it's about the fact that they can do damage just when they come down real quickly. Gives the deck a lot of reach. And I've got 3 Terminates in here and 1 Kolaghan's Command. I think it's a little... I may put a couple more in the sideboard if I was seeing a lot more affinity right now, but I'm really not. And I don't want to clog up the 3 slot. This is still an aggressive deck. So right now I would kind of be relying on the Inquisitions and Thoughtseizes to take care of cranial plating and whatnot, which it may not always do, sadly, on the draw or whatever. But normally that's going to get the job done. But again, it may be a good idea to run a couple more Kolaghan's Commands in the sideboard. But I just don't know that I would load up more than that here. And the returning a guy from the graveyard to your hand mode is just not as good, since most of these guys are doing that anyways. But in the late game, you could get an Aristocrat back, for instance, so you would want to make sure to sack the Aristocrat to itself rather than let it get pathed if it came down to that, since this is in the deck. Again, the land count at 23 is a little high for an aggro deck, but I do have some 3s and 4s here that I want to make sure I can cast at my top end. And as I said, it is somewhat more painless than a lot of decks, but I do have the 3 Sulphur Springs and the Crypts and the Myers here, but that can kind of be worked around. It's certainly not as bad as most of the 3-color decks would be. Now the sideboard, at the moment, see I've got some Smash to Smithereens for the affinity, which I think being a little bit cheaper might yet be better than running additional Kolaghan's Commands, but I'm not sure, because that you can get 2. It's just that the 3 damage seems worth it in a beatdown deck, but it may be better there to just play a kind of a control game. I mean, that's what I would do with Zoo against Affinity, but with this deck having so many creatures that can't block, I'm not sure that that would be the right way to do it, to sideboard into the control role as I would with Zoo against Affinity. So for right now, I've got these. I've got a duress here. might want to make room for more of those. I've got Guest's Verdict because I was having to deal with some uh, Boggles decks, and I wanted to make sure I had a good answer to that, since certainly if they suit him up with an Armadillo Cloak or whatever the other one is that's modern legal, start gaining a bunch of life. Game gets out of hand pretty quickly, and these colors don't really have anything they can do about enchantments. Um, I've got Leylines of the Void here. A couple of Nethomancers. These are good against control, since I can play it uncounterable of Cavern of Souls. It can often be worth, 6, 7, 8 damage in the late game. And if I've got them beat down to that point, it's a great finisher. You can also then sacrifice it and recast it if you get into that late game situation. So it can be worth a ton of uncounterable damage against a control opponent, and that's the best place to put it there. I've got Slaughter Games for combo decks that are hurt by that, so I mean Escape Shift would be primarily the one. And now a couple of these Reign of Tears. This is a little odd. My problem was the Crumble to Dust seems like the better option against Tron. The problem is that with it costing 4, I couldn't always reliably count on being able to use that in a timely fashion. If they get a Karn or a Ugin or whatever out before I'm able to cast that, well, it's GG. So Reign of Tears, at least even on the draw, has a very good chance of taking them out. And plus, it can take them off color if I need to, against red-green, if I'm using it against one of their colored sources instead of the Tron land. So there are circumstances in which that's better. Molten Rain would be another option, if one red, but I'm trying not to have anything with red in it, so that I can, whenever possible, fetch the basic swamps here. Yeah, again, the other would be, I guess, Stone Rain, but again, I don't really see any reason the way I'm fetching this out to play Stone Rain over this. So, and certainly there are hands where the red doesn't show up for whatever reason. So that's why I went with Reign of Tears here. It's not a fantastic option, but it is what there is. So again, with a deck like this that's aggressive, waiting till turn 4 to cast Crumble to Dust, it just could be too late. I don't have mana dorks. Other disruption before that time to kind of keep them off of it. Again, if I had counter spells or something like that I thought, well, I can safely make it to turn 4 to cast Crumble to Dust, then it might be a different story, but it's not. So the main problem, and you're going to see in the videos tonight, that the sort of the main weakness of the deck is against hyper aggro, because all these creatures coming into play tapped or can't block. I mean, nearly all of them. I mean, Stromcalled Crusader is the only one that comes into play untapped and can block in the entire deck, other than, I guess, Falconwrath Aristocrat. So you, against like a very hyper aggro deck, have a lot of problems to the point where I think with as much as that's going to be present in the MTGO metagame, that makes a real problem for playing this kind of deck. Now, I think that if I were going to try to fix it up, what I would add in the sideboard, I'm not sure. I think I would need some kind of life gain here. These aren't fantastic colors for sideboard options against aggro. I suppose another option would be to try to bring in some other cheap removal and try to morph into the control role, but I think I would have to put too many sideboard slots devoted to that. If it comes to that, it comes to that. I have okay matchups against some other decks that maybe I can sacrifice that angle, but something does have to be done to the aggro. I don't know if it's playing, some kind of one of those Soren's Thirst or something like that does damage the opponent and gains life. Excuse me, or if it's putting in some Disfigures or some other cheap removal to just kind of try to buy some time. Maybe take out some of the the worst creatures here, because certainly if you can get to the point, if you can stabilize and get to the point where you've got your Falcon Wrath aristocrats and your messengers and stuff, you can close out the game pretty quickly. But the problem of trying to shift into that control role is that you don't really have that sort of mid-range guy who's just going to sit up there and clog up the board, your obstinate Baloth kind of thing or what have you, that that's going to buy you a ton of time, gain you a bunch of life, and be a real board presence. I mean, even when you get to that point where you can start to try to pull ahead and close out the game, you're still sitting there casting guys that are like, you're not exactly blocking with these things. You can with the Geralf's Messenger, but it's going to take you a turn to get there. So it's iffy whether that's a good plan against them. But there needs to be some kind of plan against hyper aggro. But anyways, I've got 3 match footage for you to watch tonight. I hope you enjoy the matches, and hope to be back in a couple of weeks with some vintage. Bizarre Moxen was very interesting over in Europe. You know how I like the human 5-color humans decks, and 5-color humans deck did very well over there with some really odd choices. So I'm definitely going to be exploring that over the next couple of weeks, and should hopefully be back to vintage there for my next outing. But for right now, have some fun with the red-black zombies, and I will see you next time. Hey everybody, it's Chris, MTGO's RexDart. We're going to have a little bit of fun with some zombies in Modern here. So this has got a 1-drop, some hand disruption, some removal, a messenger. I think this is fine. We're going to keep. So let's see, Flooded Strand, and no turn 1 play. Alright, we're going to run out the Diregraph Ghoul first. He could be a Path to Exile deck, and I'd rather not have him path the Gravecrawler, give him a chance if he wants to path the Ghoul. So we're going to lead on the Blackcleave Cliffs. And then next turn I can Inquisition and then play the Gravecrawler. Okay, Steam Vents. So it could still be Jeskai control, or it could be a lot of things still. So, alright. We will find out shortly, however. Okay. I'm going to run that out. And Inquisition. What do you have, sir? Okay, so it is in fact Jeskai control. So let's see, the Electrolyze is decent, but it's not going to 2-for-1 me with this draw. I could take that. I could take the Lightning Helix to prevent him from getting the life gain, and that might be better. I think we'll do that. All right. So I can just get basic swamp here. I'm not going to need an additional red. So I will probably just do that. Because you do want to preserve your life total a little bit against them, because they do often reach a point in the game where they start shooting a lot of burn to your face. Now I think alternatively, like say I left him with one high cost piece of removal. It could have been correct to take one of the bolts on the basis that then if he had wanted to, he might have had to shock himself if he wanted to be able to eliminate all of these threats. But I think he could have still just waited until this turn and he wouldn't have had to shock himself. All right, well, we got a little bit lucky there and we hit a land. So we will swing. If he drew a path, he might burn it on the Gravecrawler here. That would be nice. And then we'll run out the messenger afterwards. Okay, he's just going to go ahead and electrolyze. Okay. And we will search up the swamp and run out Giralf's messenger. And again, the good thing about this deck, and I'm not saying that the matchup against Jeskai Control is like a slam dunk or anything, but the idea here is that Lightning Bolt is probably the best spell in the format, and all of these creatures make Lightning Bolt very bad. And although albeit they do it in a way that is not. Nope, see, he's going to exile. I wish I'd known he had that. All right. But again, Lightning Bolt doesn't interact particularly well with these creatures. Okay, Blood-Soaked Champion. So I guess the best I can do here is run out the Blood-Soaked Champion, Bolt Nahiri. And I guess next turn I'll have the play the messenger. But yeah, as I was saying, obviously bolting, a Gravecrawler or Giralf's messenger is not particularly great. I mean, the other way to play around Bolt is to play sort of a mid-range deck where everything has 4 toughness, say like a Kibler Zoo style of deck. So, I mean, there are multiple ways to go about that. So let's see, we know he still has 1 Lightning Bolt and a couple of unknowns here. Could be looking at a Cryptic here. We're going to go ahead and swing first. We'll go ahead, even though I imagine that's what we're looking at. I don't really see the point in prolonging this. We're not going to be able to make him tap out. Oh, okay. That was good, apparently. Alright, and we'll pass. Let's see what he's got end of turn. Okay. Alright. So, it took a lot of damage there. Now, if he's got Snapcaster to buy back the Lightning Helix, he's still in good shape here. We have done a lot of business on his life total. All right, we've got him down to 5. So now, well, like I say, I mean, if we assumed that if he had nothing, then we could play this safe by holding the Bolt to try to do it in response to a Snap Helix. But I think that that's probably wrong here. Because, yeah, he didn't have any counter magic before, so now at least we know we have him down to 3. So now if we so choose, we could do that. But what is he tapping out for? End of turn. Okay, he's got a Sphinx's Revelation. All right. Again, Path to Exile is going to be the best removal spell in his deck by a wide margin, and we were fortunate that he did not have any. All right, so now we're at the part of the game where he's got active call-in odds. Now we've got another messenger. So, well, you know, we've been drawing business. I'll tell you that. Some spots here where an extra land would have been nice, since Terminate's been dead in our hand. But all right. So he's going to snap Helix here, I assume, and then block. So is he going to block and trade with Bloodsoaked Champion? Or he could block and trade with Geralf's Messenger. If he does that, which one is he going to Helix? So okay, so he could do that. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see which he does here first, and then. All right. So he's going to do the Helix. So now I could terminate. Yeah. What's he going to Helix? I guess we don't get to know. So if I'm going to destroy it, I'm going to have to destroy him now with the terminate. If we do that, he's going to be able to Helix one of these, go back to 8, take 2, go down to 6. And yeah, I don't know. Let's see. No, okay, we're gonna let this go and see what he does here. Okay, he's gonna block there. All right. Okay, that seems strange that he allowed that to happen. Because he can cast Helix, but I don't know why he didn't Helix the guy there. That's strange. We're gonna pass, and then bolt in response to his Helix. And I guess if he has a Dispel or something, then so be it. So yeah, he should not have been in that position. I think that was not the right play on his part. Okay, so I know I'm going to want duress here. Anathemancer is potentially good against him. And I think the Terminates are not that great. So I say I could take them all out. Obviously that leaves me a little weak to Colonnade, but I'm certainly trying to win before we get to that point. So let's try that as a plan. Yeah, I think I was still in good shape in that game, but there's no reason he should have lost that turn, because he could have cast the Helix when I wasn't in a position to do what I did there. All right, so we've got a Gravecrawler, a Bloodghast, a Crusader. We don't have any hand disruption, but these are all pretty good threats against him, so we're going to keep. Okay. All right. Oh, and we got a Thoughtseize. Okay. So I could Thoughtseize him first, just to see if he's got a path, so I can get that out of his hand. That's a reasonable play, I think. We're going to take some damage this game, and it's probably likely. Lead on this. All right, no path. We've got a leak. I don't really have to worry about that because I have Cavern. So we're going to take Nahiri and plan on using the Cavern to work around his mana leak, and then he certainly can use Snappy to trade with my guys, but I'm going to be able to bring them back. Crusader, I'll just have to give flying or something when it comes to that turn, I guess. Okay, so let's see, we'll go Do I want to name Zombie with Cavern? Do I want to name Spirit and cast the Bloodghast here? Probably going to want to name Zombie with Cavern. So we'll go Cavern, naming Zombie. And then I will play the Stromgall Crusader. Which has the benefit of being immune to a lot of his removal spells. Not Bolt, but Helix and Path. Alright, so we know he's still got the Leak and 2 Snappies and a couple of unknowns here. Blood-Soaked Champion, huh? Okay. Alright, so I could swing here, bait him into just running out the Snappy and Bolt it, and then resolve the Bloodghast or what have you. That might be a way to go. I don't think he'll do it for no value, but I don't really think I need to pay for the flying if that's the case, because if he does want to trade Snapcaster for Stromgall Crusader, that is fine. Okay. Alright. I'm going to let him, I guess, counter Bloodghast, and then bring it back, hopefully, with a land drop later. Let's see, black for an uncounterable Gravecrawler. He can leak this here. It's not super for him, obviously, because it comes back later, but it does save him some damage. So it's not a terrible play on his part. Alright, so we still know he's got 2 Snappies. Okay. Okay, now here he could Snap Leak. Okay. Oh, Electrolyze. Well, yeah, that's going to get him some value there. Okay, that's unfortunate that he drew that, but so be it. Yep, not gonna be able to do anything about that. Okay, well I can bring the. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to bring the Gravecrawler back, sadly. Run out of Blood-Soaked Champion. Okay, here, no, he's not going to. Okay, I thought he might want to keep Snap Electrolyze up, but he did not. Alright, I got a land. Now here, since I know he can't Snap Electrolyze, I could, if I bring the Bloodghast back out with the land, then I can try firing lightning bolts at him to give it haste. That's an option. Again, since I know he can't snap Electrolyze, I'm just thinking, because if I did it now, he couldn't Mana Leak the first one. He could still Mana Leak the second one. Let's see. No, but since he can't, okay, I may as well do it now. Okay, so bringing that back. And okay. And then I think we'll, let's see, so if we attack here, he can snap, trade there. So if I bolt, he's gonna, if I bolt it, I think he's gonna snap league. But then I can always just bring this guy back. Okay, you let that go. All right. All right, he went to 6, which seems strange. I mean, now, I mean, yes, he could have an active Colonnade, but he's using all of his mana for that. Okay, now he can snap Electrolyze here. And he could have paid the life to do that previously. Okay. Stromgall Crusader, huh? Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and swing in. Oh, he's got a path. Okay. That stinks. Alright. Okay. Alright, now he's going to snap path on the blood-soaked champion. Or you can just let it go. Or you can trade. No, okay, he's going to go ahead and do that. That's fine. Alright, so I will go black, black, cast the strong. Let's cast it off of this. Stromgall Crusader. And recast the Gravecrawler. And pass the turn. Alright, what is he doing here? Okay. Alright, now is he going to snap Electrolyze? That's a good play. Alright, so still got a lot of draws here that could win the game, and that could do it. Black, 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 red. Oh, he has another removal spell. That's unfortunate. Okay, now we are losing. I guess I can sack the aristocrat to itself. I don't see any reason to do that, however. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're going to lose this one, unfortunately. Guess it depends what his last card in hand is. If he goes for it here with Colonnade, then I could still top deck either another aristocrat or a Geralf's Messenger. If he has a lightning helix, then I am not winning. Going to 4. Okay. Guess he figures that's safe. Five. Now, if he's got, I guess he could have a helix in hand or a path still. Since the Colonnade has vigilance, he could rely on either. It puts me to 2. If he's got that, of course, he's going to win. But I can't afford to blow mine just to preserve life total. If he's got it, he's got it. Yeah, that's fine. So my only route to winning there is to do that. So again, the fact that that could happen, so be it. All right. So do I want to change anything about this? I still think no. That's fine. It's a good match. I really like the matchup. It's fun to play. All right. So you got a Kolaghan's Command, Diagraphical Thoughtseas. Well, I've certainly seen better hands, but it's probably all right. Do I want to Thoughtseize on turn 1 and then put the Ghoul out, or do I want to run the Ghoul into possibly removal? Since my only pressure here, that's kind of my problem. I guess if it's anything other than Path, I could always just get it back with Kolaghan's Command. I know this is dicey. This is not an exciting hand by any stretch of the imagination. So that remains the question here. I think we will run out the Ghoul first and take the chance here. And if I draw another 1-drop, because I need to keep the pressure up here. If all I'm doing is a turn 2 Diagraph Ghoul, not too enthused with this. Okay, so no bolt, or he probably would have, well, I guess it's 2 damage he'd be saving anyways. Okay, well that's good. Aristocrat. Alright, so I'm going to play a tapped Blood Crypt. Or I'll run the Mire out and just fetch Blood Crypt tapped, I guess. Now I can get a basic of that. I'll run out the tapped Blood Crypt. Okay. And Thoughtseize. And see what we sees. Okay, a Path, a couple of Leaks, a Staticaster, huh? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good card. A Resto Angel. I don't like any of this. To run out the Path, then I mean he's going to be holding up Leaks. All this stuff is flash. I mean, trying to resolve any of this is going to be annoying as heck. I can't kill with the Kolaghan's Command. Well, I think I'm going to get rid of the Path. And we'll just hope that something develops. Maybe I'll draw a Cavern. Alright, well, he's not going to be able to leak anything here. Seems really loose on his part, not knowing what's in my hand. Not to leave the mana leak up. Well, anyways. I'm going to run out the Bloodstained Mire. And we'll swing with Cool. And so what I'll probably do is, if he just passes the turn, see, it's not much value from that Kolaghan's command, but I could play the Kolaghan's command here and just kind of bait him, see if he would counter it. I mean, it would put him to 14. I don't think he's that afraid of that. You have to discard a card. I mean, that's it. But I'm not getting any value out of this. I don't really see myself getting any value out of this. Well, hang on here. I mean, I guess I can walk Aristocrat into the leak and then Kolaghan's command to get it back like end of his next turn. But he's going to be able to hold mana up this whole dang time. I don't like it. Okay, alright, he let it go and discarded a leak, so he traded it for a leak anyways. Alright. Alright, I can swing here, see if he runs the Staticaster out to block it maybe. And then I can resolve an Aristocrat. Okay, he does. Now, admittedly, that puts me in a weird spot because I would have to sack the Diregraph Ghoul to save it, and then the next turn he could use it. So that's just terrible. I tell you what, I'm not in a good shape here. Really weird. Okay. Yeah, I guess that would have been a case where I could have got value. I should have thought about that he might flash that out to block it. Then I could have got value with the Kolaghan's command here because the Aristocrat is not going to live. So the dang thing has haste. Well, okay. All right. Well, I think in hindsight, then again, he's played so oddly that I think I thought in my head that he might actually bite on that. Okay. Well, I guess we can run this out. Let's go here first, and then I know he's got a resto. He's got a leak. See, there's a second leak. Okay, all the leaks. Okay, he's got a resto and a mana leak there. Okay, still not in any better position here than before. Okay, he can just run Resto Angel out now if he wants, and a turn just to have the body. Okay, he chooses not to do that. Waiting until he can get value out of it. Would be really nice to draw a Bolt here at some point. Or some additional creatures or something other than lands. Okay, still not going to run that Resto Angel out. Now he saw Terminates. He could think that I'm sitting on a Terminate because I got these two cards in my hand, but I don't know if he would have expected me to keep those in or not. Just wondering why not go ahead and dump it on the field and a turn, try to get some pressure on the board, but and another diagraph pool. Okay. Now I'm about to where I can play anything I want out of the space of his leak, but that's the problem here. If I play the aristocrat, I'm still dying to Staticaster if I don't get a human. What I really need is like a blood-soaked champion or something. Jace, that's annoying. And it's a 5. Ugh. Alright. Get a Blood Crypt. Tapped. Okay. Oh, I got a bolt. Alright. Yep. Okay. Yep, I miscalculated that damage. I needed to bolt his frickin' Staticaster before blockers. Alright. Okay, well, it's fine. I'll sack that. Blocked one anyways. It's always going to have to do that, so I guess it amounts to the same thing. And then I guess he can't -1, so that's fine. I'll go ahead and bolt his Staticaster now. Okay. He still has a leak. Could have used it there. Okay. All right. All right, there comes the Resto Angel. Alright, well, unfortunately, he's going to be able to burn that Jace for a Factor Fiction if he wants. Now, if he's got a... Oh, rest in peace. That stinks. Okay, well, I didn't really have that much that was... Didn't have anything in there that was coming back. And at least he can't Snapcast or anything. Alright, he's just going to hold back, sit back behind that dang Jace. Gavern of Souls, you're too late to matter. All right, now he can factor fiction and keep it alive. So he should be taking over the game at this point. No, he's going to keep doing that just to keep his position so his resto can live, which is good until I draw any kind of business here. Let's see. So I can trade this for the resto angel, but that's about it. That's El Stinko. I guess we'll play the swap. Not getting any Bloodghast's back. Nothing to hold that for. Okay, double bolt now. Yeah, I'm getting close. I could double bolt the angel here. I don't know what is in his hand, but let's see. Yep, and he's got a helix. All right. Oh boy. Yeah, close match, but yeah, he was able to take control of it pretty well there with the Jace. Oh wait, hang on. Okay. And swing there. Okay. Can't F6 here. I've got to be able to sack it in response to a lightning helix if he has one. Electrolyze. Okay. Yeah, that was about the best draw I was going to have. I don't see how I'm beating him now. Gravecrawler. Well, you're a man there. Okay. All right. So if he had a colonnade or something here, he could really just put this away. All right. Slowly taking up the Jace. Geralt's Messenger. All right. So have him to 6 if he got no play here, but he has a gazillion cards in his hand, so kind of surprised he hasn't been doing something else. Okay, Supreme Verdict. Okay. Alright. That's not normally a good card against me, but with Rest in Peace, it's surprisingly good. Okay. All right. And we whiffed. Geralf's Messenger. I guess we'll let him ultimate his Jace and see what he gets out of it. Never actually seen anybody ultimate one. So, now he's got Nahiri, so he might be playing Emrakul or something stupid like that. Yeah, he did. Okay. Does he get to cast it? Yeah, okay. So that's game. So, okay, that's cute. Anyways, but no, it's a good matchup. I like it. It's pretty good back and forth. A lot of interesting ways that cards trade poorly for them in many situations. But like I say, he was able to stabilize there, and I kept a iffy-ish hand, and probably should have made a couple different tactical things there. And then if he had made a couple different tactical decisions earlier in the match, it could have helped him as well. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the game. Join me shortly for another match. Hey everyone, it's Chris, MTGO's RexDart, and we're on the draw with Red Black Zombies here. I do have only one land, but a bunch of spells I can cast for one, and so I'm going to take a chance here and keep it on the draw. Alright, so opponent Swamp Thoughtseize. Okay. See what he is inclined to take. Really did not like the art for that Thoughtseize. I much prefer the Lorwyn art there. Alright, Geralf's Messenger down. He must not have been too worried about me ripping his hand to shreds. So let's start with that process right now. Sarah Avenger, Funeral Charm, and a Doomblade. It's got a nice Expedition Marsh Flats there too. Ghost Quarter. So like black, white, death, and taxes of some sort here. Alright. Interesting. Well, I can deal with the Sarah Avenger. Doomblade is non-black creature, so that's not going to hit anything in my deck. So I guess we're going to take Funeral Charm. I guess. I don't know. It's freaking crazy. Okay. Funeral Charm it is. What a silly matchup. I guess it kills the Gravecrawler. I mean, not particularly well, but yeah, you know, if I don't draw another land, Sarah Avenger's turn 4, right? If I don't draw another land, I might have to Inquisition that next turn. Because the Terminate will not get there if I do not have a red. You've got to be kidding me. All right. Okay. Well, you know, I said when I kept it that it was a little dubious. Path to exile? You jerk. Well, alright then. Thoughtseize. I don't want him ripping a land and being able to play Sarah Avenger, although I'm more concerned about him being able to thought seize my Aristocrat. Really don't want that either. Assume that I get to a land for Sarah Avenger here. Yeah. Let's take that. Faith in the heart of the cards here, and by heart of the cards I mean the red mana producing cards that are yet in my deck, which I'll get access to for like one turn since he goes quarter and I have no basic mountains, so that's a thing. So interesting, black white death and taxes there, so he's got access to a lot of good hand disruption and removal. Alright, well I guess here I go ahead and Inquisition and then play a Diagraph Ghoul. Defiant Strike? You've got me there. What he intends to do with that, I have no idea. Alright. Okay. Alright, just gonna cycle it. I figure maybe he has Delve creatures or something. Tassiger or something here. Agent of the Fates. Oh, okay. Alright, that makes sense, I guess. The Defiant Strike. Yeah, that's not gonna be good against me, but because I just love sacrificing things. So, does that have first strike? No, it doesn't. Okay, so yes, let's see what happens here. We'll attack you, good sir. All right, Bloodghast. I assume it's some sort of pet deck of his because he can't really have budget limitations here. I mean, he seems to have cards. Yeah, this was one that I thought could be cool in Standard. This guy's on the all Expedition Marsh Flats plan here. I have no idea how expensive I guess these actually are online or not, but so he got a dead Doomblade sitting in his hand. I suppose I could have terminated this before combat. Don't really know that he wants to trade it off. But yeah, no, I kind of liked these engine cards, but the whole heroic thing just really didn't. It needed more cards like this, frankly. It needed some Cantripy, preferably probably some ones that were free instead of cost one, but it didn't have quite enough to get there. But that's really the problem is it doesn't really make sense to Voltron up like this guy. So I mean, like if they'd had a guy with hexproof, maybe that would have made that deck come together. I'm not sure. What is his avatar? That's kind of cool. And oh, it's an Ajani. Okay. All right. Guess we'll play tapped Black Cleave Cliffs and then pass the turn. Yeah, I think Doomblade is a little suspect to play in Modern on account of just too many black creatures running around, Tassigers and everything else. Siege Rhinos, stuff from the Abzan deck. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and terminate one of these. End of turn. Emerge unscathed. Oh, that's cute. Okay. Alright. I guess, well, we'll sacrifice the Bloodghast. I should have guessed he would have that. It's strange to me that they printed something that is strictly worse than Emerge unscathed. I don't know what they were thinking there. Alright, well, I ripped a land, so Bloodghast will come back. And I guess name Vampire there. Red. Red. Alright, so next turn he'll be able to do that again. When he rebounds it. That was the other piece that, and the rebound came in, I think, right before these guys rotated. So, but still, it never really made a deck. So, alright, well, he could be in good shape here if he rips something else to target that guy with. Yeah, they did print the like a strictly worse version of Emerge unscathed. I think the last set of Dragons of Tarkir, um, and that I thought that, well, that might have made a deck. All the rebound spells were pretty weak, but they were all kind of like that. They were all pretty cheap and would have been good heroic enablers. So yeah, well, obviously this isn't that great. Is there anything I want to bring in him? Duress is a possibility, as is Geth's Verdict. But Kolaghan's Command is good. All of this other stuff is good against him. I'm not really sure I need to bring in anything else. So I think I'm going to keep the main deck as it is. But there's an argument here, I guess, for Geth's Verdict and Duress. And if he brings in but if he might just bring in like Leyline of the Void against me, in which case I'm not getting his graveyard hate with Duress anyways. That's probably what I would do. Alright, so we've got Gravecrawler, Bloodghast, a Bolt we can't cast, but we'll get there eventually. We'll keep it. So if he leads on Thoughtseize, probably take Gravecrawler here. Since I don't immediately have another way to get rid of it. Favored hoplite. That's not one you're normally going to figure to see in Modern. Okay. We will, I think, lead on Diregraph Ghoul. You get a counter from that? Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what you would do to make the best possible heroic deck. Obviously, Emerge Unscathed is probably among the better ones. Ooh, Core Firewalker. All right. That's not back-breaking against me, but it certainly is solid. Thankfully, all the guys really kind of get around that. All right, so I guess I'll probably do Gravecrawler and Inquisition this turn. There's no way he's trading that for a Diregraph Ghoul. So yeah, okay. Yep. Rebuff the Wicked. Counter target spell that targets a permanent you control. Kind of weird. Monastery Mentor. This guy is really in deep here. Wow. Okay. And that's basically Emerge Unscathed. I don't know how many copies of that does he need. Well, I guess I'm going to take Monastery Mentor. It seems like the best card. I don't know when I'm going to be able to cast this Bolt either, so he can't right now even cast the Agent of the Fates. He has nothing to hit it with. Alright, we'll take Monastery Mentor. So, but yeah, I wonder what else there might have been in terms of cheap cantripping spells that target your guy. Like, you know, would Rancor be good? It's not cantrip, but I mean, it's a powerful, cheap spell that targets your guy. Okay, well now I've got the Blood Crypt. I know he's got that Rebuff the Wicked open. So we're going to go ahead and... Oh, that was ugly. If he drew an Emerge Unscathed, that's going to be... I should have played the Blood Crypt first so I could bolt the guy in response. I think he's just keeping that up for Rebuff the Wicked, but I still, if he... That was not correct. Even when you're playing against a weird brew or something like that, it doesn't always play out exactly like you thought. Okay. All right, we'll pay it and cast a Bloodghast. At some point, I'm going to need to draw something to kind of break this stalemate, because he is going to, at some point, be able to get these guys up to reasonable power. Okay, well, we'll start by attacking in. So if he has an Emerge and a rebuff and that rebuff, then he's going to be able to excuse me, he's going to be able to get one of these guys at least to knock out one of mine, but I don't think he'll be able to knock out both. Okay. So that's all we're going to do is trade there. Now we'll see if he's got the emerge. Nope. Okay. All right. So he goes to 7. All right. So I'm looking in pretty good shape here. We'll play the swamp. Bring that guy back. And cast us another Bloodghast. And we should be in good shape here. Have to remember that the bolt is only worth 2 damage because of the Firewalker. Alright, it looks to me like he got choked on lands here, so but he had to tap out, it wasn't going to be a great spot for him anyways. Funeral Charm. Okay, I know he's got that Rebuff the Wicked. I think I'm just going to have to let this go. So he's going to be able to block and take out one of these guys, but if he doesn't want to block with the Firewalker, yeah, he's going to have to block with the Firewalker. Let's see if he has an Emerge Unscathed also. Nope. Okay, so he's at 3 now. And then let's just see if I can go for the Bolt. Or does Rebuff target you or a permanent you control? I think it's just a permanent you control. So that should be it. Okay. All right. So kind of a weird brew there, but that's what you see sometimes in the at the cheap tables there. So all right. Well, join me for another match in just a moment. Hey everyone, it's Chris, MTGO's RexDart. We're back with zombies, and this hand presents an interesting dilemma. I have an awful lot of hand disruption. But no creatures. I'm on the play. I think I'm going to keep it and see what happens. I'm really curious more than anything else. I think we're going to have to get a Blood Crypt here, sadly. Okay, Bolt, Goblin Guide, Experiment 1. Alright, so the Thought Seizers are pretty garbage. Well, I think we'll take the Goblin. Well, see, I can bolt the Goblin Guide next turn, so that's fine. We'll take his Lightning Bolt, and then we'll revisit what to take next time. Okay, drew a Kytheon. Alright. It's kind of an odd one. Alright, hey! That worked out. Okay. Alright, so you're going to get a Swamp here. Okay, now we'll Inquisition. And I think we want to take Keld Marauders here. Or probably a Keld Marauders, and then we'll bolt something here, either Kytheon or the Goblin Guide. Probably the Goblin Guide. I'm going to let it see if I get a land off of this. Drolf's Messenger coming up. Okay. Alright. And we bolt the guide. Alright, so he can't cast the Experiment 1. Everything else he's got here is kind of weak. See, he's got Bushwhacker. He's a ways from casting. Become Immense. He can't cast yet, but he would be close to. I'm going to cast the Giralf's Messenger. Probably these Thoughtseizes are just terrible. Um, it's probably fine to take a Become Immense with it, since that's, I guess I'd rather lose 2 life than 6. Nope. What's he going to play? He's going to get the, okay, oh, he's got an Accoddle, okay. So a very hyper-aggressive small zoo list here. Okay, Diagraph Ghoul. Alright, so I can hold the Messenger back as a blocker. If he rips a land, he's going to be able to make something indestructible with Kytheon here, at the cost of all of his life. Alternatively, I can go on the beat down here and swing in with Messenger, but he almost certainly is not going to block, and my Diagraph Ghoul is tapped, so I don't think I want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to Thoughtseize his Become Immense, and that leaves him with just the Bushwhacker. So he might be able to experiment one into Bushwhacker next turn still. I'd rather get rid of Become Immense. Do I want to get rid of the Bushwhacker also here? Is that worth more damage? If he rips a land, and he did, that would be pretty bad, so I'll go ahead and do it. Alright, so that leaves me in a pretty rough position. But all things considered, not the worst. And he doesn't have the burn in hand to finish me off or anything. That's kind of stinky. He ripped a Goblin Guide there. So he's going to be able to attack with 3 and flip the Kytheon. That was really quite fortunate for him. Nope, okay, he's not going to attack though. I guess because he can't make it indestructible, so he doesn't see the point. And he needs one more land to be able to do that. Meanwhile, I'm totally on my back feet here. Like I say, I can swing with the Messenger, but he's going to have lethal if I do that. Alright, now he's got his land, so he'll be able to Giralf's Messenger is on the top. So yeah, all this stuff that enters the battlefield tapped is a little terrible, but so let's see, we'll trade. Okay, he'll be able to one of these. Guess that saves the most damage. Okay, he did not choose to spend any mana to make his guy indestructible. It's any guy, isn't it? Oh no, it's only Kytheon. That's right. Okay. Alright. So, alright. Alright, well, that gives him a lot of potential outs here. So we go black, black, black. Okay. See, there's nothing in here with flashback or anything, right? Okay. Alright. So I have to attack Gideon, which it does. So he's going to be able to hit me for 2. So if he top decks another Goblin Guide, or actually I guess he can just kill me with making him a dude. So Yeah, this is the worst matchup for this deck. So it's again, it's not really um, great against like one drop zoo here. So I want the duress. I don't want the thought seizes. Um, let's see. Anathemancer could be fine. I don't know, Geth's Verdict. See, I've got to bring in 2 here. I guess it could be. I say Geth's Verdict would be one option, and just bringing in the Anathemancers would be the other. So that's probably going to do 3 damage to him when it comes in, and it's a body that can trade with something. Yeah, it's getting my curve a little up, but I don't know that that's better than. I don't know if Geth's Verdict is better than that. So let's go with this. All right. Okay. So I've got some removal here and a dude that can't block. So, that's awesome sauce. God, do I want to mull it or keep it? I don't know. I guess I'll keep it. There are a lot of potentially better hands I could have here, but there are a lot of way worse hands I could have here too at 6. At least I do have some removal. And again, he looks like he has a lot of creatures and less burn. Okay. All right, so we've got a kitty. All right. Okay, and we'll just pass the turn and hold open terminate, I think. Now the one good thing here is he is going to do a ton of damage to himself with his mana base. So, all right, we've got a Goblin Guide. All right, what? Giralf's Messenger on top there, huh? Okay. Black, red. Way to terminate the coddle. And another Nikado. Okay. Alright. So that kind of puts the brakes on the excuse me, on the attacking plan. So I'm gonna play a Bloodstained Mire. So I guess what we'll do here is we'll pass the turn, hold open Kolagon's Command. Let's see, is he at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? So potentially next turn he could become immense on something in response to the Kolagon's command. So it might be better to just do it now. Except that this can't block, so then he could become immense on the coddle. But if he's going to do that, he's going to do that anyways. I don't know. I think we're going to pass. Oh yeah, he's definitely got become immense open now. And another Goblin Guide. Boy, howdy. And a bushwhacker. That's unfortunate. Alright, well now we're definitely going to have to Kolaghan's Command one of the Goblin Guides. Red. He discards and kill a guide. Inquisition. Okay. Well, let's start with that. Let's see what his last card is. Unflinching Courage. Oh, okay. That's a good one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's got 7 damage on the board. And I have a guy that can't block. So if I take this, play Geralf's Messenger, I'm simply dead on the board. So I have to play the Anathemancer. And use the Anathemancer to block something. Alright, well, if he just top decked Become Immense, then I lose. So, okay, Duress. Alright, we'll trade with that guy. Or if he top decked a Burn Spell. Nope, Kytheon. Okay. Alright, so the Duress is dead. I'm not going to be able to unearth that. I'm at 2. Yeah, I don't see any way I can get this. These guys are both tapped or can't block, and he's going to have more than enough. Even if I baited him into blocking there, either one of these guys attacking is going to be enough. So that will be the game. So yeah, the terrible matchup is terrible. Is the lesson here. There might be some ways we can talk about fixing up the sideboard that might help against this. But it's just not very great in the aggro mirror. It's designed to be more resilient against control rather than explosive. And again, it kind of loses in that matchup. So